Hello all and welcome to Demo Hour April 2022 edition organized by hrtech.sg and hrtech.in. This edition is powered by Archili. Archili is incidentally the trusted partner for parsing, matching and data enrichment for many corporations globally. In today's session, we'll be showcasing how we can leverage technology to engage, reward and recognize talent in the hybrid workplace. Before that, a quick overview of hrtech.sg and hrtech.in. hrtech.sg hosts Singapore's largest and curated marketplace of over 140 providers across 8 talent categories. We are also the co-creators of the Singapore HR Tech Market Map that is endorsed by Institute for Human Resource Professionals, the Society for Human Resource Management, Singapore Human Resource Institute, and Singapore Polytechnic. And the India platform today hosts over 45 providers in just 3 months of its launch. We have 45 plus providers across the 8 HR categories. We embarked on the Demo Hour event series in 2019 to evangelize and promote use of HR technologies. The event actually provides a platform for various HR technology providers to showcase their high-tech solutions. Our focus has been to accelerate the adoption of HR technology. So the event motto has been only to showcase demos and not presentations. So the first event actually happened in September 2019 at our WeWork facility in Suntec, Singapore. And then after the onset of the pandemic, we have moved to an on-demand webinar format. And hopefully we are looking to go back to the physical format of Demo Hour. Now, why are we having this session today talking about the increasing need for technology for talent engagement, rewards, and recognition? So we are seeing some interesting trends happening in the marketplace. Number one, various research clearly suggests that employees prefer hybrid work arrangements. In fact, some of the research actually suggests that 1 in 5 prefer to do remote work permanently. So it becomes really imperative for HR professionals and the HR teams to leverage the right set of digital tools to keep the workforce engaged and also incentivize them to catch the wave of transformation on time. Number two, what is happening is the remote workforce of today, they seamlessly toggle between workplace applications and personal applications. And their expectations of a consumer grade experience from their workplace applications is increasing with every passing day. So therefore, it is the owners of enterprise HR teams to ensure that they provide a consumer grade experience even from their workforce applications so that the employees have a seamless experience. Number three, there's a big change in workforce demographics. At this point of time, there are about 5 generations that are in the workforce today. And with an aging workforce added to increased focus on diversity, equity, inclusivity, and belonging, there are a lot of demographic shifts that are happening inside enterprises. So this calls for an immediate implementation of tools that can ensure better equity, parity, fair employment and recruitment practices to ensure we are able to cater to all of these demographics within the enterprise. And finally, the most important thing is hyper-personalization. So it is not just enough for us to be employee-centric when designing workplace experiences. We need to go a step further and to combine these experiences to micro moments that matter to each and every employee. This is proving to be a very, very important trend. And that is where the need for digital tools like what we are going to see today plays a major part in the case of hyper-personalization. To validate whatever we have been talking about, just to give you some numbers, the entire year of 2021, we saw $2.5 billion US pumped into HR tech startups in the talent engagement space. And just in the first 3 months of 2022, we have seen $1.36 billion flowing into HR tech startups in the talent engagement space. Not just that, we have also seen a lot of acquisitions in the talent engagement space by Microsoft, Ultimate Kronos Group, Workday, Perceptyx, Qualtrics happening in the past few months. So we clearly know the segment that we are talking about, the talent engagement, rewards and recognition, is going to be a very important part of HR technology. So that's why with so many trends happening and a lot of money flowing into this space, we felt the need for a demo hour that focuses on how to leverage tools to solve HR problems and also deliver strong business outcomes. And I'm very thrilled to share that as part of our expert HR panel today to witness these demos and clarify questions on behalf of many HR professionals who will be watching this in an on-demand format. We are extremely delighted to have Vignesh, Deputy General Manager, HRSS and VMO from Mercedes-Benz. We have Jitu Syriac, who's an IHRP SP and a Senior Manager HR at St. Luke's Hospital, Singapore. We also have Varuna Pandey, IHRP SP, a Human Capital Specialist, and an ex-Axis Bank Senior Leader to watch these demos and ask questions on behalf of the various HR teams that will be watching this in a on-demand format. Thank you once again, Vignesh, Jitu, Varuna, for taking time. To present these demos, today we have 3 best-in-class products, and these are going to be represented by Debikar from Personify, Karthik Sundaraju from Profit, and we have Gurmeet from Zozode. So thank you once again for joining us on this edition of Demo Hour that is organized by hrtech.sg and hrtech.in, powered by Archily. Each of the presenter will have about 15 minutes, 2 minutes of presentations, followed by about 10 minutes of demonstration, followed by 2-3 minutes of Q&A by each of the panel. Thank you once again for attending our show. I now hand it over to Debikar of Personify for his demonstration. Over to you, Debi.
Thank you, Sriram. Great having you all here. My name is Debikar. I'm the co-founder and CEO at Personify. Personify is one of the unique platforms that designed entire employee engagement with keeping employee at the center, not the HR workflow at the center. We believe in bringing real-time people insight so that taking actionable plan to derive business impact is a lot easier. And you do this while building a happier workplace. Now, we have been in the market. Right now, the platform is being used across Southeast Asia, India, Europe, Middle East. We have almost 15,000 employees using the platform and driving employee engagement for organizations in insurance, in technology, in automotive, in retail, to name a few. Along with the technology product, we have an integrated behavioral science team that continuously builds and designs questions and processes that are very, very important to focus on an employee's experience and supporting mid-sized organizations and growing organizations on designing their employee engagement options altogether. Now, the key advantages that we bring to employee engagement is we believe technology is an enabler. It needs to be simple, easy, and completely integrated so that you spend less time dealing with the tool, more time actually delivering better people experience. So you will see today during the demo how we have made it really, really easy to pick up any attribute that matters to your organizations, drive a lot of engagement, and get real-time insight. Because end of the day, what we are seeing as an emerging trend going further is HR future lies in analytics. How can we deliver better insights to my business? If I can do that, we become actually getting a seat at the table of answering more people-related insightful information. And how can organization make that into an advantage? Now, a lot of time we miss out on employees' experience while we are still driving a lot of employee engagement studies. That's where we have built a complete dedicated interface that takes care of nudging personally. What gets nudged to individual A versus individual B is very different. And it only focuses on what matters to that individual. And that information is shared and nudged then and there instead of waiting for a long time. Now, we have 2 key offerings in the market. One is candidate engagement, which is during hiring talent acquisition phase. How do I deliver a fantastic world-class experience and yet get a predictability of a no-show so that my offer to joining ratio cannot be actually dropping. That's what we see large in the market right now. So candidate engagement focuses on better experience, giving you predictability to improve your offer to joining ratio. Employee engagement focuses on day one onwards, onboarding onwards. How do I get complete understanding of my employee's experience and have ability to deliver a better experience then and there. Now, today we'll primarily focus on the employee engagement aspect. Now, across the entire life cycle, while a person is exploring or decided to join the organization, onboarding, throughout this entire phase, till the time they're growing within the firm and bringing business impact, there are multiple ways you want to understand how is my employee experience. Now, attributes that you look for employee experience could be different for an organization. But to make it easier, we have given you immense facility, whether it is pulse questions, whether it is driving surveys, 360 reviews, NPS, all of that is integrated on the platform. So whether your onboarding team is doing an onboarding check or whether your L&D team is doing a skills survey, the system captures key information across and gives you a common view all the time. So that different HR business partner roles does not need to be done differently. They continue to do what they're doing, but we bring you an integrated view. And the best part is we have underlying data analytics engine that gives you early warnings then and there and gives you actionable intelligence right away. And we'll see that in some time. Now, because we are able to drive information very easily, whether to drive engagement for a particular team, maybe my sales team is burnt out. I need to focus on well-being, and my technology team managers needs coaching. So your engagement strategy becomes very, very personalized than an one-size-fits-all approach. Now, without any further presentation, let me go back and show you how we do it. Like I said, we have made it really, really easy on the platform. The system comes with a lot of inbuilt attributes. Now, while you're focusing on an organizational culture, employee experience, you have multiple areas to ensure how you're doing. It could be onboarding, it could be your collaboration, it could be your managers are effective. Now, we have made it easier and templatized. All you need to do is figure out what is priority for you. Our system will recommend, if you're looking at organizational effectiveness, what else you should be checking within that. If you're looking at manager effectiveness, what you should be checking in that. Under each of them, we have given recommended list of questions so that you're not really running around to figure out, oh, I have been asked to do manager effectiveness. What question should I ask? We have built in those behavioral science questions already into the platform. Great. We have got the questions. You obviously have the ability to set it for the entire organization, for a set of cohort at any scheduled time. As and when people answer these, you actually get a real-time view of where do you stand on the attributes that you have chosen. Let's say for you, what mattered is job satisfaction, customer centricity, ownership. These are all real time. Every second somebody answers, the system automatically shows you where does the organization stand. Not just that, we also look at underlying intelligence. What are barriers to productivity? Now, you might be looking for ownership in the organization as an employee experience, but we have parameterized and figured out what within each area can actually impact a person's ownership and motivation. And can that be an impact on their productivity level? I might be highly motivated, but the existing processes are not helping me to be productive, right? So our system has that intelligence. Whether you are clearly asking for productivity questions or not, we constantly keep figuring that out behind the scene and tell you, hey, what are you checking? Where do you stand? But yes, there are barriers to productivity that are slowing you down. And we also identify early warnings, like I said, based on your NPS scores, based on people's scoring over a period. If things are going up in their experience level, going down, we keep a tab of all of that. And we keep highlighting, are there people who are at the risk of attrition? And we make it really, really easy to tell you where should you put your attention, which particular group, which age group, or which particular unit that you should be focusing your attention on. And based on that, you can go ahead and decide to create a focus group or dive deeper further on that. Now, I want to go further and understand why is my ownership level a little low? Like I said, you have ability to define what does ownership really mean. Now we have defined ownership as I can take responsibility, I have positive outlook, I have empathy. You will have ability to see where do you stand in each of these parameters. Not just that, you can compare various units, because my ownership at 80% doesn't mean entire organization as every unit is same. What you're seeing is a quick cohort analysis. How is my compliance legal team high on motivation, but low on achievement orientation, right? And whereas I can see my other units are very low on alignment with their management and very low on achievement orientation. Now, this is a clear input for HR business partner to design specific program differently for your legal team, differently for your technology team, and you have ability to go and compare multiple such units, right? Now, we talked about pulses, single questions as frequent as you can ask, but you also have ability to build your own surveys. Like I said, you shouldn't be looking at multiple systems to drive employee engagement related analysis. Build your own surveys, launch it to your alums, to your employees, and these are available in multiple languages. All it takes, let the user decide what language they want and you launch it. Every time a survey is answered, again, in real time, you can always see the responses, which is probably straightforward. But the beauty comes where we allow you to dive deeper into advanced reports. How is each unit, grade-wise, tenure-wise, managers who are tenured versus manager who are new? How do my people react differently to these kind of behaviors? What are my highly satisfied units? And against each parameter, where are my units? How are they doing, right? Very easy to go ahead and compare these units very easily so that you know, is it a quarter-on-quarter behavior, month-on-month behavior, or is it just a one-time how I am seeing? So far, what we have been looking at is how, as a leader, I can understand various data points, more insights in real time. But like I said, what matters more, do I have ability to deliver a personalized experience? What you are seeing right now is an employee view. You have ability to conduct pulses, but why should I lose an opportunity to just get the pulse question and not show more about the firm? We have given ability to capture anytime feedback across any parameter, even when you are not conducting a pulse check or a survey. Complete anonymous surveys or feedbacks can be captured. Now, you saw our data analytics shows collaboration is a problematic area for one of the units. Now, instead of just waiting and giving feedbacks at the end of the year to those managers, the system can actually nudge those specific managers or those specific units on how to improve work collaboration. And this could be completely linked to your existing LMS. So if you know collaboration matters more for your organization, you have existing learning programs, the system will pick up those learnings and nudge only to those individuals where they think if we enable them better, that unit will really, really improve, right? So instead of waiting to give a feedback, you have all the ability to enable that individual then and there. The biggest thing that we are seeing and observing with across our customer base, when organizations share back, what happened to the employees' feedback? Being more honest and transparent by saying, hey, this is what we found, announce it back, keep the communication line open. The survey fatigue reduces and people are more honest in giving more feedback because they know that this is getting action. So that's why we have given ability to be able to share more information with the open communication line, right? I'll not get into every detail, but having a dedicated employee interface is like your consumer-like experience where you can share more information, capture their engagement levels, personalize nudging, which matters only to that individual, rather than making it one size fit all approach, right? I hope this is giving you an overview of how we are trying to get real-time insight to the organization, to the leadership, and giving an ability to take an immediate action to improve an individual's experience. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Debbie. We now move to the Q&A. May I request Varuna, Jeetu, and Vignesh to share their questions. We start with you, Varuna.
Thanks, Debbie, for a
Thanks,
quick
Ronan.
review. My question is actually pertaining to a classic technology conundrum pertaining to when you offer this personalization, and as Sriram also pointed out about the hyper personalization as an expectation from an
Yes.
employee. How do you deal with the privacy concerns of the employees, and how are they taken care of in this platform?
Absolutely. So I'll break that in two areas. Actually, research shows 95% of employees are open to say, you can take my data, but give it for my benefit, right? Don't misuse it. So till the time we can say, Debbie as an individual is looking forward to move from a technology role to a product management role. If I am giving that information to the system and the system is able to find the right learning and tell me, here is a product management 101 for you. Here is how we can do. I think I'll be more happy to see that. Now, that is from an employee's point of view, but to ensure from a technology point of view, we are GDPR compliant. We are already ISO certified, and we ensure region-specific data center acceptability so that your data doesn't move out. Beauty is we do not need PII data. Your name is not required. Your mobile numbers are not required. None of your personal data is required. What is required is organizational email ID and where do you fit in the organization, your unit, your grade. That's it, right? Now, with that, we can bring in a lot more information to the employees as well as to the lead.
Hi, Debbie, great product. I do have a couple of questions. Let me stick to one now.
Sure.
I see the product does go through various data points, whether it is from Pulse Survey or 360 and other scoring mechanisms. Right. And it basically finds out the problem. Now, when it comes to the solutioning part, the solution for the problem, I only saw the reading recommendations. Are there other kind of recommendations which the system will throw us? Whether it is training or coaching or need for a cultural change or whatnot. Does it throw other solutions?
Absolutely. And fantastic question. I'll actually go back and share my screen for a moment. And I think probably in the interest of time, I couldn't cover. The biggest advantage we bring in is not restricting to our data analytics only about the data that is available on the platform, like your pulses or feedback and all. We actually have built in one of the industry's first HR data lake, where we can take your existing R&R, leave, attrition, your unit's performance, customer NPS, and put together and tell you, where do we see the highest impact happening? This is just a sample example of how we see rewards and learning impacting attrition. We have ability to correlate how is my day 5, day 30, day 90 satisfaction is making me a detractor, right? Now, the fact that I'm bringing here is a lot of time, if I have looking at a 360 employee experience, we cannot restrict it only to pulses and service feedback. We have to combine more data, which is there already within the organization, and then derive action items. So our system has that ability. So what we do, we work with HR business partners to say what works for that organization specifically. So our recommendation, like I said, 2, 3 are integrated already. Sentiments, productivity barriers, attrition risks, those are inbuilt in the system. But we, depending on the organization's need, make more things available on the platform.
Understand. All right.
Thank
Over
you,
to Vignesh.
Thanks, Jitu. Debbie, again, great presentation. Thanks for the insights that you also provided to the other panelists in terms of questions. My question is more from the system architecture standpoint. I think we have varied organizations where they are kind of using the age-old HRIS systems. They are stuck to some ERPs. There are also the new age organizations which are going to the SaaS model types of products. How do you manage the integrations of this product to the both ends of the spectrum? If you can throw some light on that, that would be of great. Thanks.
Absolutely. No, you rightly said. I think future is obviously more integrated because we can't have systems sitting in silos, which will create more problems for the HR community itself. So we are obviously a new age platform built completely on cloud. We leverage some of the most recent technologies. So we have our open APIs already set in. All it needs for an organization is to provide an authentication and it integrates with their system. So for all the modern cloud technologies, I think it is fairly easy. We have already done single sign-on integrations with other HRMS and LMSs. So open APIs from our end is available. For large ERPs that has been in the system, I do see there are a lot of developer community and them building new open APIs to make it integrated, because that's a demand from customer nowadays. So those products are also providing those APIs to be integrated. So from our product point of view, we have all the open APIs available.
All right. Okay. So Debbie, thanks for clarifying on the external data privacy. You spoke about GDPR and PDPAs and stuff. I think my question was more focused on the employee privacy concerns internally within the organization, how the data flow and what the insights are available to who all, like the business leader, immediate managers, and its impact on the data reliability, because unless you resolve those trust issues within employees, the data quality may not be.
Absolutely. No, great point, Varuna. And we actually project each time. Anonymity is our biggest strength. Not a single report you will see which has anybody's name and what they responded on, because it doesn't matter what that individual employee is responding. What matters is what is the outcome of that response, right? The data is available to HR leaders specific to that unit, so you have all the access control, your immediate managers, but you do not see who responded what. What you see is how is my overall unit is responding to collaboration, burnout, well-being, and things like that. Again, we have restrictions. If the number of responses while you are filtering goes down below certain threshold, the system will not allow you to see it further, right? So complete anonymity is a guarantee from our platform.
Okay, thank you. That clarifies.
Thanks, Varuna.
Thank you very much, Debbie, and thanks to the expert HR panel. We now have Gurmeet Singh from Zosode going to demo the product next. In fact, Zosode raised $30 million recently from loyalty management solutions provider GIFT. So congrats to you on that, Gurmeet, and over to you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Gurmeet. I at Zosode head business for one of our product, which is for employee rewards and engagement, which is called Impulse. I'll be taking you through that. Otherwise, as a company, we are present in India, which is a head office, and then Mumbai, Chennai, and obviously outside of India, which is US, UK, Middle East, and Singapore. So in that sense, we are a global organization, and with the funding that we got, our focus would be to make the product more stable, strong, scalable, and obviously to add enough resources to make sure we scale globally from where we are today. All right, so we're talking about Impulse. Impulse is a SaaS product. It's a software as a services product from Zosode. So if you see Zosode as a name, that's the organization. Impulse is a product. Like Impulse, we have other two products as well, which have different functions, which have different target audience. They solve a different purpose in the reward space itself, a different use case altogether. Now, coming back to today's discussion on Impulse, if I was to look at explaining what Impulse is in one statement, it is your employee rewards and engagement product, as simple as that. And what is it built for? It is built for your every organization's competitive, the business advantage or the business advantage is their people, is their team members. And that's exactly what we are trying to enrich. We are trying to engage via Impulse. The name itself is Employee Pulse, shortened as Impulse. That's how we got the name of the product. Now, before I get into the feature bit of it, let's understand what we are trying to solve. How big is the problem? Is it really meaningful to have something solve around a product, solve around reward and engagement? I think while engagement, disengagement is a pretty broad term, there are many subsets to it. Let's call it happiness in that sense. That engaged, is also happy in that sense. The facts are that, and these are global numbers. These are given by Gallup. 80% of employees are disengaged. Again, I'm reiterating engagement. Engagement is a very broad terminology. But from the actual meaning of disengagement, 80% employees are disengaged, in which 18% are actively disengaged, which means they are, now when I say actively disengaged, there is something called desirable attrition and there is something called regrettable attrition. I would say there is a universe of people who are disengaged, unhappy. In that, there is a subset of people who might become regrettable attrition tomorrow, and some might be natural attrition and all of that. You want to attend to regrettable attrition, and you want to attend to people who are yet not completely disengaged, and obviously handle people who are completely disengaged separately. So there are three different buckets. Just to give you a sense of these numbers that you see here, that's how the whole numbers are put out over here. Now, typically behavior, I mean, if you look at these are typical, behavior you would see, criticism, negative influence and stuff like that from people who are in the either partially disengaged and definitely in the completely disengaged segment, which will have a subset of regrettable attrition as well. And that's how it kind of trickles down to the whole organization. And these are some more numbers. And I think this slide makes it prominent that this is a genuine problem. And there is one more piece that will come after this, which is about cost, which I'm sure we all want to be sensitive to. 37% higher absenteeism, 18% lower productivity, 41%, 37% higher absenteeism, 41% higher attrition. These are pretty, I would say, loud numbers. And that is exactly what we are trying to attend to via our platform Impulse. Let's look at the cost. I'll skip some of these numbers because I think I'm just trying to establish what the problem is, how big the problem is, and I'll quickly get into the features. Now, from a problem perspective, all of us understand attrition, whether regrettable or desirable or maybe natural, has cost involved to it. Now, there is actual money involved, and there is a cost of business continuity involved. And these are the numbers right in front of you. It's not a small amount. It's from a money perspective, and it's not a small impact from a business perspective. Direct cost typically comes to 17K USD. Indirect is 50K USD, which are pretty loud numbers in that sense. Hence, coming to what, looking at this whole background, I mean, I think I'll pause here in case there is a reflection on what I've spoken so far. I'm happy to take that, or now I'm going to get into why Impulse and how will Impulse actually, we're going to help you handle this via Impulse here.
Sure, Gurmeet, you can go ahead to complete your demonstration.
All right. So now here is Impulse. These are the things which are part of when you say engagement, when you say happiness, there is communication, there is alignment purpose, there is empowerment, there is motivation, and then there are other larger dimensions like health and well-being and mastery and stuff like that. But I'm saying even if you look at basics, communication, empowerment and motivation to start with now is basic. I mean, and that is exactly where we have started our journey from. And we will extend the journey of the product to everything else that's here, including health, well-being, alignment, purpose, mastery. We're very clear on the direction. We are obviously picking one plank at a time to make sure we master it, we do it right, and connect all six together. So it's a thread. We can't have, we wouldn't want to build something wherein communication cannot influence health, mastery cannot influence empowerment. So we are going step by step. Right now, we have very, very strongly built it on communication, empowerment, and motivation. When I say we built it, we built the Impulse platform on these three pillars right now. This is what is in it for you. So as a people manager, active listening, from an employee perspective, seamless communication, ability to speak whatever you have in your mind. From an HR perspective, avoid silos, and from a leadership perspective, overall ROI, from an investment perspective and happiness perspective in the organization. This is where, I mean, these are some of the things that I mentioned earlier. I'll just make it very, very specific. Impulse is a DIY plug and play tool. I kind of heard integrations earlier. So definitely, yes, Impulse is built for the future. Impulse will talk to your HR stack, to an employer's HR tech stack. Wouldn't be a product that will just come in and kind of make it difficult for you. It'll come in and make it easy for you in that sense. It'll come and seep into your HR tech quickly and seamlessly. All right. So now I'll just quickly skip this. I'll move to the most important piece to start with. Is the reward piece. At the heart of it, Impulse is a reward platform. And when I say a reward platform, there are multiple subsets to it. Reward and appreciation need not just be monetary, need not just be ad hoc, need not just be rudimentary in that sense, or too much protocol oriented. That is exactly what we've done here. You can have appreciations which are monetary point based, non-monetary, peer-to-peer. You want to send somebody thank you, just send a thank you card, as simple as that. And all of this is powered by a global reward catalog. We are proud to say we are one of the biggest in the reward offering, in the redemption offering that we offer. I'm saying redemption because anything monetary on this platform happens via points, and those points need to get consumed somewhere. And when we have a very large global catalog to help users consume those points. So if you look at the philosophy level, there is communication, which is social intranet in that sense. There is monetary reward, which is, I would say, motivation in that sense. And then there is feedback. There is feedback, ability to listen. And that is exactly what we've done on the platform. Having taken you through the philosophy, I think it'll be easier to now understand this at the first look of it. This is your Impulse account. Accessible on a browser. There's an app on the stores, Android and iOS stores. The biggest action that happens on the platform is this, that if I wish to appreciate someone, I can just, it's as simple as that. I can just select the user, select an appreciation and send, as simple as that. That's the only trigger that needs to be done. It is extremely light, handles complexities of organizations in terms of budgets, approval workflows, multiple BUs, award with specific restrictions. For an example, appreciation with specific restrictions can be handled over here, which is what we are saying, the appreciation piece. What you see here as the connect piece underneath here is a social intranet piece. Look at it like a Slack, and this platform talks to Slack. There's an integration with Slack already, and there's a survey piece here as well, wherein you can conduct surveys, make it anonymous, capture user information, and we have got 2 surveys built in partnership with Shrum, which are here right in front of you, and I'm sure you're familiar to ENPS and Pulse surveys. These are already built. Now, if I go like 30,000 feet back, there are 3 things: appreciate, which is R&R, connect, which is social intranet, and surveys, which is basically feedback. And that's the Impulse platform, powered by a very large global catalog. And completely DIY, which means you did not call out to anyone saying, I want to change this logo, I want to make an award. Everything is controlled by you as an employer.
Thank you very much, Gurmeet. Can I request Varuna, Jeetu, and Vignesh to get their questions?
Thanks, Gurmeet. I think my only question seems to be a pretty relatable platform, would be, how do you drive, or do you rather help organizations in the adoption of this platform and the training the employees may need to create awareness and the ease of adoption at an employee level? So do you offer that inbuilt, or is it?
I think Varuna, very, very important question. And I really appreciate this is the first question being asked. So the answer is yes. I'll respond to it on 2 sides. One is yes, from a business perspective, because we are a SaaS company, our business is renewals. From a business perspective, if customer is not using it, not renewing it, we are not in the business from a business perspective. From an implementation perspective, we've onboarded about 450 customers already on Impulse. There is a clear structure around how a customer is taken live on the platform. A customer goes through an exercise of onboarding, which is spread between 4 to 7 working days. The customer gets an exposure to a reward consultant that even helps you draw the right. If you have doubts on the reward structure, because this consultant has onboarded 450 customers, they will share their knowledge with you. Beyond that, how to announce it internally, how to put out the play field right, what triggers to send out, what communication to send out, what incentives to give for what action. So for an example, you want to promote people using the application on the phone because adoption is going to be higher. And if that is the behavior you want to drive, we will tell you how to drive it. We will actually educate you on, for an example, how to have a leaderboard built upon people who use mobile phone impulse on their app on the mobile phones, for an example. So we have done it completely end to end. We make sure you have enough adoption. Structurally, there are monthly, quarterly business reviews. The engagement consultant talks to you every quarter to see how's your adoption going. There are webinars conducted at the admin level, webinars at the user level also, from a platform user perspective. Outside of all of this, we have built something in the app itself. There's a resource center for every user as per their access. And we made sure we offered enough information here for an admin and a user to be able to use the platform without really getting too much, without really getting into too much of trouble.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Jitu.
Hi, Gurmeet. A quick question. I saw in one of your slides you had communications, you had rewards, you also had empowerment.
Correct.
How does the platform help in empowerment, or how does it drive empowerment?
So the view we have taken, so all three are connected. So I'll spend like a couple of seconds on the other two also before I can come to the empowerment. The connect piece that you saw there is social intranet, the ability to socially say good job to anyone, which is right in front of you, which is also, I have named it as town hall for this demo. That's connect, wherein you socially recognize people. Motivate is the R&R, wherein you reward and appreciate people. The view we have taken on empowerment is that I, as a manager for my team, I want to run an anonymous survey to know how my team is doing. My HR or my HOD has given me that power that you could run your surveys yourself. And that could be for anybody in the organization. I want to take a feedback for myself with, let's say, intra-departmental feedback, for an example. So that's the view we have taken on the empowerment, that the ability of people, the ability for people to speak openly, conduct their own survey feedback, and understand if there are improvement areas, definitely take action around that.
So it's empowerment to kickstart a feedback session, something of that sort.
Yeah, it's aligned to that thought. You're right.
Understand. All right. Thanks.
Cool. Thanks.
Thanks, Jitu. Gurmeet, thanks for the demo and the overview of the product. Certainly answers a lot of the questions that I had. So my question is not going to be on the tool per se, but more from the philosophy of rewards and recognition. Every company, I'm sure they allocate a certain budget less to a tool cost like this. Right. Is there any use cases from your user bases or your clients to say that, hey, there is an ROI, and how do you measure that from your customers?
Sure. I think, again, a very, very important question, and I'm thanks you brought that up. I really appreciate that. So what are we, so let's go back 2 steps. So what are we committing here as a product? We are committing here that we would help you have a better engaged engagement level of your employees would improve if you were to use Impulse platform. Now will I be able to give you an ROI in percentile over month based on the engagement a month before? I would say not, because measurement of engagement itself is slightly difficult. There are multiple attributes to it. The way we present our case for better adoption is the better engagement in the employees is typically by numbers, which means how many appreciations otherwise would not have been sent, and not even monetary. I'm saying, I'm talking about kudos, pat on the back, thank you, happy birthday, or someone got married, you're sending him a happy married life card, for an example. How much of that would have happened otherwise if you didn't even have a platform to do it, and do it in the right way? That is one. Second thing is, one biggest use case we see today is peer-to-peer appreciation across industries. We have seen this for enterprises, mid SMBs, India, outside India, everywhere. I mean, this is very, very prevalent use case that everybody wants to have peer-to-peer empowerment from a reward perspective. And that's a beautiful case. Everybody in the company can award anybody, and there is a budget given to that. That consumption clearly says, clearly gives you that indicator that are people really happy doing this action day in, day out or not? Are people really consuming their 200 points given for a month, for an example, or not? And if they are, that means there is something good going on. There's definitely something good happening in the organization. Technically, to answer your question, one way we do that is you could always run this pulse survey in the organization, and this will give you clear eNPS score and would also give you your area of improvement and area of strength. And this is I would say recurring. This is rolling in that sense. You would always have a comparative to how you fared in Strategy Connect a quarter back, in Hygiene Factor a month back, relationship half a year back, and Recog and Career, let's say a year back. So answering you in two forms. One is indirectly, which I in the initial part of what I explained. Directly, this is where you would know, because everybody is doing everything here. Is there a movement in your area of improvement and strength or not? And this will definitely give you that output.
Yeah. Thanks, Gurmeet.
Thank you, Gurmeet, for clarifying the queries. We now move over to the presentation about the Profit.co platform by Karthik. Over to you, Karthik.
First of all, good afternoon to everyone, and thank you, Sriram and team, for putting this together. Thank you, Varuna, Jitu, and Vignesh for taking time off to come and talk to us and understand what we're doing and giving us your insights as well. Profit is not a pure play employee engagement tool. We are an enterprise grade tool that looks at performance, and in that whole aspect of performance, how do you engage employees? How do you make sure that they do well? And how do you keep them rewarded and stay motivated towards the cause of the company is what I'm going to speak about today. Profit is headquartered in San Francisco. We are, based out of San Francisco, in India, as well as in Singapore. And I'm the Senior Sales Director for the Asia Pacific market, and I'm based out of Singapore. Now, the main problem of engagement is people feeling connected to what the company is doing as a whole. Am I contributing to it? Am I getting visibility of what I'm doing? Am I building transparency across the organization so that every individual person working in an organization feels connected and engaged to what the overall goal of the company is, right? And this is where, a Gartner survey clearly said that 70% of people do not know how to close the gap between strategy and execution. And this is due to poor execution on the part of engaging with employees as well, right? So in Profit, we have built the tool in such a way that your strategy, your OKRs, your day-to-day work to the T are at one side, where you know exactly what you're trying to achieve as an organization, and you bring a lot of alignment in the whole process. And employee development and engagement stays a very integral part of making sure that the business runs well and people are, properly awarded, engaged, and their work that they do is appreciated. We've been, featured in Gartner for the 2 hype cycles, and in Capterra and G2, you can see our ratings here. We have about 1,000 over customers worldwide with large enterprises, tech companies, governments, manufacturing companies, as well as startups using our tool to really try and move in the direction of ensuring that their strategy is in place. Right. When you talk about employee engagement, there's always this confusion between whether is this just a wellness program or a quarterly company picnic or a cool perk, or what is it really that employees want, right? Our understanding, based on what we've done with the work of 1,000 over companies, across the globe, is that they want their work to be impactful towards the organization. They want to know exactly what they're doing is actually impacting the organization. They're moving up the career ladder. They're well appreciated for what they do. And this is why we have those employee engagement modules within our tool, right? Once you start your planning cycle of really setting up, what your strategy is and aligning them across the organization, then the employee engagement starts kicking in when you start doing your check-ins on how much of what you've achieved in terms of goals, and making sure that you have your weekly team and one-on-one feedbacks, awarding people when they do well. And we have something called hashtag conversations as well, where every conversation that you have where you have learned something, or you've appreciated someone, or you have solved a problem, you can actually hashtag those conversations, and people can go back and refer to that as a starting point on how they want to solve problems. And lastly, really taking stock of what has been your overall performance and what is it that you as an employee have given to the organization, and how would you reflect back on that and reset your goals for the next quarter is something we look at very seriously as well, right? This is one way of really looking at how you want to engage employees. And within the quarter itself, we have several different ways of doing that in the tool. You can have your weekly reviews, your department huddles, celebrations when people do well in terms of, celebrating a win or celebrating a new process that has enhanced your entire, way of working. And then learning, right, in terms of, what have you learned from your past quarters? How do you reflect on that? And then again, have another large scale celebration at a town hall or learning and recognition. And that's the process that we look at in the tool, right? Now, how do you engage and inspire your team is really to have those one-on-one conversations as and when they need them. An employee can use our tool and quickly set up a one-on-one meeting to understand how their performance is, or where they feel that what their contribution is, and how that is getting honest feedback, timely feedback is a key thing, and this allows you to do that, right? We also have pulse surveys where you can really run pulse surveys. You can run it anonymously as well to really get feedback from your employees in terms of how they felt about a certain a new rollout within the organization. Right, we have a small reward system as well in place where you can award employees, and you can really build a kind of a competition where who's on the leaderboard in terms of performance, right? And here is where you can see from a department level, at an entire company level, at every quarter, who are the ones winning awards, who are the ones being given a pat on the back, who are the ones doing really well in achieving those rewards, right? I will now jump into the demo and show you some of the key things that we have. Now, the one thing that many people would really want to understand in feeling connected to the company is to really understand when you're doing something within the company, how are you impacting to it, and what is your contribution towards the overall goal of what the company is achieving. And this one screen alone tells you exactly who's doing what, where they are with what they're doing, and how are they achieving that in order to be, in order to contribute to the company. We also have this meeting space here, where you could actually run your one-on-one reviews, a team meeting, or a weekly progress meeting to really engage with your employees and understand the progress of what they're doing, right? So, for example, if you would like to just go and see what is happening in one of the OKRs that you have set up for at the HR level, you can go in and look at those OKRs. And if there's any discussion, notes or ideas that you come across as a team, you can kind of put that inside here and start engaging with each other. The other area that we have a lot of conversations, feedback, recognition is through our pulse surveys. You can run your employee survey and very easily, and then get feedback on that. And in the dashboard, you can quickly see how people feel about certain things that you're running within the organization, and including NPS scores that are automatically calculated, right? So if you want to go in and see the NPS score of a particular department, you can actually scroll through and see the NPS score based on the survey that you've done. It is extremely easy to do a survey in Profit. Just go in, go to CFR, get onto pulse surveys, and you can actually set up a survey within seconds, right? Just put drag and drop and create a survey and send it. And if you need it to be anonymous, you can also make it anonymous when you roll out the survey, so that everybody within the organization can be able to participate without fearing of what they want to say. The other thing we have is the awards, where we have a leaderboard that tells you exactly who the top performers are and how many points they've received. And at any point in time, you want to give your team an award for what they've managed, you can do that here through the newsfeed. You can go inside and go to your team, look at the progress and give them an award, right? It could be a bronze, silver, gold award carrying points, and then these points can then be interchanged into rewards within the organization, right? You can go ahead and create your own awards. So at the CFR level, if there is a particular award that you want to create a new one, the most innovative person, the top salesperson of the week, you can actually create those awards, create the award points, and then kind of add into the system so that you can keep people motivated, right? Now, during the check-in process of the goals that you're trying to achieve itself, you can also give feedback and also give emoticons to kind of motivate people. So if I were to go do a check-in here and I want to actually put in a comment, I can actually put in a comment here and get that person involved inside very quickly and give a comment and give a hurrah or kudos to them when they're doing well with something, right? You can also like the progress of some of these things when you see that someone is doing well. As far as performance is concerned, we have this employee 360 reviews that you can do. And the good thing about this is that it gives a holistic view of the review, right? Here you can actually see, here you can, when you look at performance in totality, you can actually see the hard numbers people have driven in terms of quantitative data, what they have done as self-assessment for themselves and what they want to speak about, all those things are captured. And finally, your peer assessments can also come in. So it's a 3-point, kind of a performance where you can look at and engage with your employees, where you can look at the hard numbers as well as the soft skills that people want to have, and look at performance, right? Now, if there are goals, other goals that have been set, or awards that have been given to this person during the course of their work in that quarter, those things also kind of populate inside here. Once all of this is done, this goes into a 9-box matrix where you can exactly see, who are the star performers, who are the underperformers, and and which kind of box they kind of fit into, based on both their hard numbers as well as their soft skills. You can then develop individual development plans to really make sure that their IDPs are all sorted, and if their performance is lagging behind, you can also set up performance improvement plans to kind of help support that as well, right? So that's a glimpse of what we can do. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have right now.
Thank you very much, Karthik. Varna, over to you.
Thanks, Karthik. That was an interesting overview. And myself being a performance management specialist for a few years, it
Right.
interests me more. Okay, I had a few questions actually, but I'll
Sure.
stick to, on the
Sure.
list. By the way, I love that alignment screen mapping to the whole piece going up.
Thank you. Thank you.
On the 9-box matrix, what I could gather is, and you confirm the understanding, after the employee assessment is done, the manager assessment and the peer assessment is done, thereafter the employees get plotted in that 9-box grid. So
That's right.
how is the weightage and how is the system algo working in the background?
Okay.
That?
Okay, so you can choose how you want to do the weightage. The weightage is done in a 3-pronged process. You can take individual goals as a certain percentage, OKRs as a certain percentage, and then your performance reviews as a certain percentage. It aggregates that together and then plots that on the 9-box matrix. Now, there are some companies who look at performance only and not OKRs. They're new to OKRs. They're still figuring it out. They would want to put a lower percentage on OKRs at the start and give more weightage towards competencies and goals first. And then as the maturity level goes up higher, they would want to reduce on the competencies and increase on the OKR. So the system allows you to actually direct that yourself, and then based on that you'll be able to plot on the 9-box matrix. The 9-box matrix itself is also customizable. What we have a few templates, but if you feel as an organization you would require different kind of components, you can redesign the 9-box matrix on the fly.
So, sorry, just a quick one. So after this 9-box matrix, do you also give a pathway how it sort of feeds into other processes, or is it like then again the organization to use it?
So the managers then look at the individual development programs for them, and then how do you set up your career ladders, and how do you then progress towards the next level or next grade of what you want to do. We also have trend analysis that looks at all the different quarters and and look at performance across 3 or 4 quarters, and then be able to set up that IDP. And then again, performance improvement plans if people are falling behind, and then you can add mentors to kind of help them move towards that direction.
Understand. Thank you.
Thanks, Jitu. Karthik, again, it looks like a great product. I mean, what certainly interests me was the OKR framework and how that is getting connected to the performance appraisals, goals. 9-box was an absolute stealer. And the moment when you said that the 9-box could be the way the organization philosophy wants, I think that's something quite interesting that I've not seen anywhere. So it's quite interesting. Just an add-on to what Varuna also asked, does this product, I know it may get connected to your Sabas of the world, the learning programs of the world, your own, learning programs that you want to integrate. Does this have any tool or any module pertaining to succession planning? Does it allow us to do?
So it's a very interesting question. When I spoke to a bank in Sri Lanka, the first thing the CEO said was that I'm going to set up OKRs to do my succession planning. And we have a milestone kind of a tracker that allows you to look at an entire program that you're going to do in terms of how you're going to plan your succession, right? So it was actually Sampath Bank in Sri Lanka. Happy to tell you the customer. And they used it to actually, trial and see how they would want to do succession planning as well. But they used the form of OKRs to do it. Yeah.
Got it. That was my follow-up question. Maybe just an additional perspective now with the world kind of slowly crawling back to office, at least from an Indian context, we are struggling to get people back, and the attrition wave is still high. The talent war is pretty huge. How these engagement tools? How are you looking at the future, the next 2-3 years? Are you going to look at this hemisphere and say that there are things that we want to do differently? Maybe these were the models that we did for an in-office sort of an environment. How are you? How are your tech experts thinking on these directions?
Yeah. So two things, right? I think a lot of times, we've also had iteration issues, but we've kept it to a very low number. And the reason why iteration numbers were low was because we had clear visibility on who's doing what, where they are, and what they're doing, and how satisfied are they in terms of contributing towards that. I think the real challenge of why people leave is not because they're unhappy with the company. They just don't know what they're doing and how is it impacting the company. But when you have a clear idea of how you are as an individual contributor or a team level is doing something towards the overall goal, then the satisfaction levels are high, right? We don't just come to work for a salary or and just for employment. What we need to do is also needs to be meaningful towards the entire organization's goals. When we started out, when Profit started out in 2019, we were nowhere in the G2 grid. There were 73 competitors. We're now at number 3. Now that satisfaction has created a lot of buzz around our entire organization, and people feel more connected than ever before. And OKRs has played a huge role in that. In terms of engagement, yes, we are looking at building more engagements, especially on the one-on-one review parts, and how can we create a better usability and a user experience on appreciating people. Giving feedback within peers is something that we are looking at building in our roadmap as well. We have had this question from GovTech. Open Government is our customer in Singapore, which is part of Government Technology Group. OpenGov is headed by Prime Minister's son, Lee Hong-yi, and they've been using that for their performance. We had redesigned some parts of it to do that, and now the entire government is looking at it very seriously to see how this kind of performance can be adopted across the organization. Of course, it's going to be a slow sell. It's a long process convincing people, because performance is a huge thing, right? People would want to, so that's happening on one side, and we have a lot of conversations around many different stakeholders and customers on how they want employee engagement to be. So this hashtag conversations that I spoke about earlier on how you can hashtag a learning or a help that you require, or or appreciation that you want to give to someone, was something that an idea that came when we started speaking to a very large customer in the US. Unfortunately, I'm not in preview to tell them, but all of us have this device or product from them, right? And they were the ones who suggested that, and we incorporated it. So we are listening very carefully to our customers globally from different sectors, from different parts of the world, and we're incorporating some of those into our roadmap. So we have a very powerful roadmap ahead. Our engineering teams are, kind of pushing fast ahead to try and add on as many things as possible as we go along. So yes, the long answer is yes, we are looking at all these different things, and we will be implementing those. Remote work is still in play. We have not been able to get everybody into the office yet. We have started seeing that some people are more efficient working remotely than coming to office. So in those cases, we leave them and we leave it at their discretion to come in. But the engagement process is ongoing through all of these different mechanisms that we have, and we are adding on more things to the roadmap.
Sure. Thanks, Karthik.
Karthik, a quick question on your one-on-one feedback. Since you mentioned about the weekly feedbacks, do you have any data points on the user acceptability? Because I know we've been talking about this continuous feedback mechanism, but most of the times the people come back being overwhelmed with this too close feedback schedule.
So this one-on-one weekly schedule that we have is part of something we call the PPP, Plan, Progress, and Problems, right? It's a 5-minute call. It breaks down to only those individuals who really need to have it, right? Okay. And then we do that, right? So we have a all hands call where every department head kind of explains where we are in terms of progressing with our goals and what are the roadblocks, and and then the individuals who are part of those roadblocks quickly jump in to say where they need help, And then, so the interdependencies are very clear when you align everything together, and then people start working together to overcome those roadblocks.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Karthik, Debikar, and Gurmeet for your presentations and demonstrations. And thank you very much, Varuna, Jeetu, and Vignesh for sparing time to review the demos and clarify queries on behalf of the HR professionals. Really appreciate the time and effort. And thank you to Archili, our sponsor for the demo hours seasons that you will see in 2022. We hope to showcase more of these product demos. Next month, we're going to showcase some of the best-in-class technology solutions in the talent acquisition space. Thank you once again for joining in, and look forward to meeting you and hosting you at the future sessions. Bye-bye.